I don't know if you've heard, but one of the best games of all time just got a full remaster. Now I have a problem. You see, I've spent more time with this game than I have with my family, so I need a way to keep it fresh during my next playthrough. Perfect. We will be completing the main quest line on the hardest difficulty. No weapons, no spells that affect enemies, no followers, and finally, no glitches. Kind of. For our first attribute, we pick Strength because it's one of the only ways to increase hand-to-hand damage. For our second favorite attribute, both Endurance and Willpower are solid picks. Endurance provides us with maximum health, but we're going with Willpower for the Magicka regen so we can heal up faster. Major skills. Hand-to-hand, obviously. Restoration, because we're going to be getting hit a lot. Acrobatics and Athletics to give us the maneuverability we need to dodge as many hits as possible. Alchemy, because we're going to need every buff we can get. Speechcraft to avoid as many fights as we can. And finally, Heavy Armor to try to avoid some of those master difficulty one-shots. With the build done, let's meet the man who will be saving Cyrodiil with his bare hands. Introducing our hero, Quimbly Gimbal. A born and raised red-blooded Imperial, his journey begins in a damp prison cell where he's currently serving a life sentence for his actions at the capital city on the 6th of Morningstar. At first it looks like all hope is lost. We're confined to a lifetime of daily shankings and racial abuse from the other prisoners.
Wake up, Red Guard. You're an ugly one. But then all are ugly. You're just a dirty, the most repulsive race in all of Tamriel. Really?
But by an absolute stroke of luck, we're approached by a man far too young to lead a nation who has decided he wants to make Cyrodiil great again by offering us a full pardon. We'll take it. After our new friends decide they don't want to play with us anymore, we're confronted by our first challenge. 2 average-sized Baltimore rats. In a normal playthrough, we would smack these guys twice and be on our way, but on Master difficulty, everything in the game, including the very first enemies, can and will kill us. This is where we develop strategy number 1, the Ledge Strat. Nickname, the Nanny Nanny Boo Boo strategy. Bethesda may have put a fresh coat of paint on this game, but under the hood, it's still Oblivion. If we ever need a moment of reprieve, we can hop up onto any raised surface and immediately be untouchable by any melee enemy. This gives us ample time to heal back up in safety before jumping back into the fight. Our second lesson is learned in the following room, where there are no ledges for us to take advantage of. Most enemies have a single attack pattern, at the end of which is a short pause that we can use as an opening to get in a single hit before running away. This is the hit and run technique. Nickname, no shit, that's how you're supposed to play the game. This strategy works well enough for the zombie as well as the first goblin, but unlike us, our next foe is armed. Now it's time to reveal the most powerful tool in our arsenal. You see, our Lord and Savior Todd Howard just couldn't help but to add a little Skyrim to the Oblivion remaster.
16 times the detail.
By pressing this button here, we're able to completely skip most fights. This is the run strategy. Nickname,
although I admit,
reuniting with the Blades, they agree to let us tag along as long as we promise not to cry, and after 4 extremely predictable ambush attempts,
hold up. I don't like this. Let me take a look.
the Emperor and I finally have time for a chat, where he gives us the Amulet of Kings and tells us we need to track down his bastard son. Uriel, you old dog, you. Oof.
Stranger.
Hey, I didn't see nothing. After saying our goodbyes to Employee of the Month Boris and apologies to the dead guy, we head into the sewers, where we fistfight a handful of rats and goblins before finally tasting freedom and stepping into the wide open land of Cyrodiil. For the most part, we're going to be hard focusing the main quest line, but the first Oblivion gate is really early on, so we could use some levels before we start. Lucky for us, there's a dungeon just a quick swim away. The ledge strat works for clearing the bandits around the dungeon entrance, but this takes forever. Since we just started, we don't have any ingredients to make restore potions, our willpower is low, so Magicka regen is non-existent, and master difficulty means every enemy is a complete damage sponge. Compared to adept difficulty, enemies take 1/6 of the damage and deal 6 times more damage to us. Hand-to-hand is obviously much worse than anything else, but it does have one upside. It's the only type of damage that also damages the enemy's fatigue in addition to their health. What this means is that after enough hits, our enemy won't be able to perform power attacks, which is good, I guess, except that power attacks are much easier to dodge, so we kind of want enemies to do them. The exception, however, is bow enemies. Since firing a bow requires fatigue, we can kind of just beat archers into submission, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it, at least until they decide to pull out a knife. In the original Oblivion, when an enemy ran out of fatigue, they would fall to the ground and you could curb stomp them to death, but for some reason Bethesda has decided to completely neuter hand-to-hand in the remaster. They've also made it so fatigue doesn't affect melee damage anymore. So not only are we unable to lower enemy damage by draining their fatigue, we're now unable to scale our own damage by fortifying our fatigue. This is why gaining some early levels is absolutely essential, and why we're slogging our way through this dungeon. There is no way to increase our damage other than strength and hand-to-hand levels. We can't enchant our fists or apply any buffs to them. This is all we've got. Down we go into our prison for the next 2 hours, where we kite one enemy at a time back to this podium to watch us heal to full, quick save, and then give them the people's elbow from the top rope.
Get the fuck down! Fucking jump!
This is tedious, to put it softly, but with each hit that lands and each quick save made, we inch forward towards our goal. If it bleeds, we can kill it, and every step forward is progress. Reaching the end of the dungeon, the only thing left to fight is a necromancer who has locked himself down here to work on his fanfiction. Even though there's no inaccessible ledge in this room, we can still abuse the AI pathing to give us time to heal. Because NPCs can't jump and will always take the shortest path directly to us, we can hop over small obstacles and force the enemy to walk all the way around, where we just jump back over and make them do it again. Halfway through the fight, we hit level 50 hand-to-hand and unlock a massive ability. Our power attacks now have a chance to disarm enemies. Fighting unarmed versus armed is a massive disadvantage, but we're now able to kind of even the playing field and make some enemies fight us on our own terms. With our pockets full and our level increased, we're ready to take on the first main quest. We need to travel to Wayne Priory to deliver the Amulet of Kings to Joffrey.
You have my ear, citizen.
I don't talk to cops.
Your money or your life.
Help! Police! Arriving at Wayne Priory and speaking to Joffrey, we're informed that without an emperor, creatures from Oblivion are able to invade our world through Oblivion gates. Martin Septim, the only remaining heir to the throne, is a priest in the city of Kvatch. We just need to pop over there and... we're a little late. Martin is trapped inside the city, but we can't enter until the Oblivion gate is closed. Yeah, we're not going to be fighting everything in here. Even the lowest level scamps are able to kill us, and the Clanfears don't even need to attack us, we just kill ourselves on their damage reflect. Most Oblivion gates don't actually require any combat. If we can sprint to the top of the main tower and grab the sigil stone, we don't have to throw a single punch. The Kvatch gate is one of the few exceptions. A guard named Minion has been captured, and the key to the top floor of the main tower is being held firmly between the cheeks of his captor, the Sigil Keeper. While we climb the tower, bear with me for a second while I break the fourth wall. While I was completing this challenge, I kept notes of things I wanted to talk about in the video or funny stuff that happened, things like that. In the middle of my notes for this section are the words Truman Show technique. What the fuck does that mean? I have watched through this footage 20 times now trying to jog my memory. I've got nothing. Please. I am open to all theories of what I could have possibly meant by this. Upon reaching the top of the tower, we're face to face with the first enemy that is 100% mandatory to kill. We can't progress any further in the story until he's dead, and honestly, we might not be able to do this. His pathing is easily abusable, so we're not in too much danger of dying, but even after landing a disarm, he's easily outboxing us. I just don't see how we're gonna... Now that we have the key, we can free Minion and close the Oblivion gate.
There is no time.
What? There's plenty of time. I can let you out. It's really no problem.
Get moving.
Wait, where are
Get to
your
the Sigil
clothes?
Keep. Don't worry about me.
Are you into this? This how you get off?
It's the only way.
One sigil stone richer and sporting a dope new title, we're now prepared to retake the city with the remaining guards, by which I obviously mean providing necessary moral support to our comrades. We just closed an Oblivion gate. What did they do today? Inside the chapel, we finally meet Martin, where we give him the news that he is Sean Bean, and the Daedra are here to make sure he dies at the end. He needs to come back with us to Joffrey, who's been keeping the amulet safe.
They've taken it. The Amulet of Kings is gone.
Fuck. Joffrey gives us a horse as compensation for dooming the world, and we spend the next 6 weeks escorting Martin to Cloud Ruler Temple, stopping to pick up every single alchemy ingredient along the way. At the temple, Joffrey invites us to become a member of the Blades, which means it isn't technically stealing when we immediately go take everything that isn't bolted down. Martin is safe here, but until he's the Emperor, the Oblivion Gates will keep opening, and he can't be crowned Emperor without the Amulet of Kings. In the background, Boris has been working on a plan to recover the amulet, so Joffrey sends us to meet up with him in the Imperial City. Oblivion's main story is comprised of 17 quests. We just started number 6, and so far we've been able to run past or cheese every enemy so far. We haven't actually needed to kill anything with our fists, but that isn't going to be the case forever. It's time to go a bit out of our way to increase our damage. Lucky for us, we're already headed to the Imperial City, and right in the Arena District is a pair of gauntlets that boosts our hand-to-hand by 20 points. Better yet, they're completely free. The only requirement is watching a single General Sam video to finally learn how this game's lockpicking works after playing it for 20 years. Making YouTube videos is really hard. I haven't seen my family in weeks, but you scroll down a little bit, hit that little subscribe button, you can make it all worth it. If this video gets 2 likes, I'll make another one. If it gets 3 likes, it'll be a good one. If this gets 11 likes, I'll give you a little kiss. If this gets 17.5 likes, I will legally change my name to Quimbly Gimble. Rocking our new gauntlets and nothing else, we arrive at the Imperial City's least shady dive bar to find Boris sitting inside waiting for us.
Listen, I'm going to get up in a minute and walk out of here. That guy in the corner behind me will follow me. You follow him.
Are you wearing eyeliner?
Watch the paradise awaits me. Only the...
After saving Boris's life, we totally helped, I swear. He tells us what he's learned about the cult that killed the Emperor. Their leader has hidden a secret message in his books, and we need to find all 4 volumes to decode it. We grab the first from the body of the guy we just killed. The second is given to us by a scholar at the Arcane University, and for the 3rd volume, we rob some dweeb at a bookstore. Easy enough, no combat required.
You're not easy to get hold of.
For the last volume, we'll need to go undercover with Boris to meet with a member of the Mythic Dawn, and there's no way to avoid a fight here. Technically, the book could be pickpocketed, but with our current sneak level, that's not happening. Any attempt at a straight-up fight was equally ineffective. They kill Boris too quickly, and winning a fight while we're outnumbered is pretty much impossible.
Only the chosen will survive.
Like every other problem we've faced so far, our saving grace is that we don't actually have to kill everything here, and we don't have to do it alone. The book is being held by the first Mythic Dawn member to enter the room, so by initiating combat with him as soon as he enters, Boris and I have him in a 2v1 for about 15 seconds before his guards arrive. This is just enough time to kill him, grab the book, and leave Boris for dead as we sprint out of there. I'm not even sorry. With all 4 volumes now in our possession, we can use our power of having played this game before to solve the riddle and find the location of the Mythic Dawn headquarters. At their shrine, we again have to go undercover. The doorkeeper leads us to a man named Harrow.
I am Harrow.
Who provides us with a Mythic Dawn robe in exchange for temporarily letting him hold all of our stuff. Harrow then leads us into the antechamber of the shrine where a ritual is currently ongoing, and we're expected to participate. Mankar leaves right before we can grab the amulet, so our new objective is to steal the Mysterium Xarxes, which is right there. And the exit is right there.
Hey.
You cannot escape the Master's vigilance.
For Lord Dagon! You cannot escape Lord Dagon!
You cannot escape the Master's vigilance. You cannot escape the Master's vigilance. You cannot escape the Master's vigilance. The time. You cannot escape the Master's vigilance.
Smugly making it back to the Cloud Ruler Temple with the Mysterium Xarxes and having learned absolutely nothing, we're given our next quest. We need to investigate rumors of 2 spies in Bruma who have been working on an evil plot to add filler to the main questline. Questioning the town guard leads us to suspect a woman named Jurl. Questioning the town guard leads us to suspect a woman named Jurl, but we'll need to break into her house to find more evidence. How am I out of lockpicks? Where is all my stuff?
Oh no, this can't be.
My stuff is still in the cave. We've got 2 options here. We could be an absolute pussy and save scum to try to find an alternate way to steal the Mysterium without giving up our stuff, or we could one by one kite each enemy out of the cave and spend the next several hours killing them until we finally reach Haro to get our stuff back. Kiting out one at a time proves to be impossible, but we are able to isolate them into groups of 2 or 3. Now we just need to figure out a way to kill them. Idea number 1, drown them in the nearby lake. Doesn't work. Idea 2, land a single punch, take 60% of my health on the return swing, then run circles around the lake until I'm back at full health. This would technically work, but if my math is correct, this would take approximately 43 years to get my stuff back. Idea 3, I'm out of ideas. We're going with number 2. Or are we? While kiting the first enemy around, I stumbled across this spot. I don't know why, and I've never been able to find another spot like this, but enemies can't figure out this hill, and they won't go around. This lets us step forward, throw some punches, and step back without getting hit. We save a ton of time not needing to heal or run around. After only 20 minutes, we've killed the first Mythic Dawn Guard, so we head back in and bring out 2 more. Each time getting deeper and deeper into the cave until finally we reach Haro. Give me my clothes, fucker. Alright, new issue. He uses magic. The safe spot doesn't work now. We need something to take his attention away from us, and I have one last idea.
Paradise awaits.
Now that we've reclaimed our hard-earned items, we're able to break into the spy's house to blur the line between investigation and burglary. Beneath a poorly hidden hatch to the basement, scattered amongst manga and body pillows, we find the evidence we're looking for. Plans to attack Cloud Ruler Temple. Returning to Joffrey to break the news, he instructs us that we need to, quote, pop a cap in them bitches. Fortunately for us, the spies either didn't see or didn't learn anything from what just happened to their friend, and have decided to not only have their meeting place be roughly 30 feet from the town guards, but follow me all the way through the city gates. The Mythic Dawn really isn't sending their best. With the game's runtime sufficiently padded, Martin informs us that he's discovered a way we can access Menkar Cameron's realm to retrieve the Amulet of Kings. But in order to open the portal, we need to gather 4 specific doodads and MacGuffins. The first doohickey is a Daedric artifact. There are 15 artifacts to choose from, each being a quest reward from a different Daedric prince. We want to pick one of the easier quests, but since the artifact is destroyed when we give it to Martin, we also want to pick one that we wouldn't want to use ourselves. The choice isn't as difficult as I'm making it sound. We're going with Sanguine, the creepiest Daedric prince and lord of asking female acquaintances for hugs. After a quick stop by the liquor store to pick up an offering of White Claws, we travel to Sanguine's shrine, conveniently located exactly 301 meters away from the nearest school. Our mission is simple: crash a fancy dinner party. We don't even need to kill anyone to achieve this. Sanguine provides us with a temporary area of effect sexual assault spell. We just need to waltz in there acting like we belong, wait for all the guests to show up, and then instantly become the most wanted pervert in all of Tamriel.
Pay with your blood.
Peacefully.
You're pathetic.
We will now have a bounty on our head for the rest of the run, but as long as we don't talk to any guards, we'll be fine. Back at the shrine, we're rewarded with the Daedric artifact Sanguine Rose, and upon handing it over to Martin, we learn that he once owned it himself. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, huh? Before moving on to the second item, we're alerted to an Oblivion gate that's opened up outside of Bruma. This is the second mandatory Oblivion gate, and it's a bit different from the first. For one, we have allies this time.
We're ready when you are. Just say the word and we'll follow you into that hell-spawned gate.
You are way too happy about what's going on. We need to show the Bruma guard how to close the gate so they can take care of them on their own. We do this by escorting the guard captain Bird all the way up to the sigil stone at the top of the main tower. Normally an escort quest would be impossible considering it takes us 45 minutes to kill a single enemy, but Bird is marked as an essential NPC. What this means is that instead of dying when he runs out of health, he just takes a quick nap on the floor before popping right back up good as new. He won't follow us into the next area if he's in combat or unconscious, but as long as we can stay alive, Bird will eventually clear out the room. Eventually. Alright Bird, pay attention. So you look at it, right? And then you press E. School is out, and the Bruma guards are now certified gate closers, which means we can move on to the second item Martin requires, the Armor of Tiber Septum, located deep within the dungeon of Sancrator. Getting down into the dungeon is no issue, but once inside, we're met with several very large compounding problems. The first of which are the wraiths that are positioned roughly every 5 feet throughout the entire complex. We're able to damage them with our fists thanks to the perk from Journeyman Hand to Hand, but their frost spells mean that if we get hit even once, we're done for. Considering this and the fact that they each have approximately 8 billion health, we make the strategic decision to run straight past every one of them. This leads to our second problem. They don't stop chasing us, and there are enemies down here that are mandatory for us to kill to progress the quest. The armor is guarded by a powerful curse that can only be broken by freeing the spirits of 4 undead blades. Each is located in a separate wing of the dungeon, but if we want to run straight to the blade, we're going to have a train of wraiths right behind us. We're going to need to pull on 15 years of Call of Duty Zombies experience to help us out here. If only we could leave a crawler. The first blade is located not too far into the dungeon. Our strategy here is to take advantage of this ledge, and the fact that the undead blade is a fair bit faster than the wraiths. We can hop over this ledge, wait for the blade to get to us, get a few hits in, then run back and reset once the wraiths catch up. At least that was the plan until this happened. Did you see that? The wraiths won't target the blade, but once the projectile is in the air, it'll damage whoever it hits. If we bait out their spell just as we move to position the blade between us and them, we can force them to friendly fire, not only speeding up this fight, but making it a lot safer. With the first spirit freed, we delve deeper into the dungeon where we encounter blade number 2. This section of the dungeon is laid out a lot differently than the previous area, and that makes the last 2 strategies impossible. Without a long, narrow hallway, we can't force the wraiths to hit the blade. We're confined to a small square arena with several enemies lobbing spells at us. Our only hope is to find a way to isolate the blade, but there are enemies immediately inside every adjacent area, so if we bring the blade with us through a door, we'll just be in the same predicament but with a different group of wraiths. Now, I have a theory that's been bouncing around in my head since the first Oblivion gate in Kvatch. When we were sprinting up the tower, a few Daedra followed us through a door and killed us immediately on the other side. Upon loading the autosave that's created every time we enter a new zone, the Daedra were nowhere to be found. So what if instead of trying to isolate the blade in the next room, we could trap the wraiths there? Let's test the theory. Step 1, we bring some wraiths to the door, making sure the blade is far enough behind us that he doesn't follow us through. Step 2, as soon as we see the wraiths appear on the other side, we travel back through the door. Step 3, kneel down and accept our fate. Step 4, reload the most recent autosave, and it worked. It worked. It actually worked. The wraiths that followed us through are now trapped on the other side, meaning there are 2 less enemies in this zone. From now on, as long as we have access to a door, we can force any enemy into a 1v1 regardless of what's behind the door. This is a complete game changer. Isolated and disarmed, we've stripped the undead blade of any advantage it had. We're now halfway through freeing the 4 spirits. Sprinting directly to the 3rd blade with our new strategy in mind, we're able to land a quick disarm before the wraiths catch up. Then it's as simple as leading the train to a door, locking them out, and punching bones into dust. One blade left, and I'll give you 3 guesses how we handle him. The first 2 don't count. With all 4 blades dead, the curse is lifted and we're able to grab the armor. Now we just need to make it out of here past the 40 enemies we've avoided so far. That's 2 of the 4 items collected for Martin, but before we head back to turn it in, we need to take a detour to finish the only optional quest we'll be doing this run.
Hi there.
The last item Martin will need is a Great Sigil Stone from a Great Oblivion Gate. In order to access a Great Oblivion Gate, we're going to need to defend Bruma from a full-scale invasion. Martin will be fighting alongside us during the defense of Bruma, and he will not be flagged as an essential NPC, meaning he can die, resulting in an immediate game over. Normally, this strategy would be to just kill every enemy as fast as possible to protect Martin, but obviously we can't do that. That's where this optional quest comes in. In exchange for assistance during the defense of Bruma, we'll be traveling to each major city and closing the Oblivion Gate on their doorstep. Calling this quest optional is technically true, but really there's no way we're going to be able to keep Martin alive without these allies, so it may as well be mandatory for this challenge. Our first stop is the city of Coral, where the Countess points us towards the gate and Pinky promises to send us a whopping 2 soldiers if we close it. This is a bog standard Oblivion Gate with nothing stopping us from sprinting to the end. Easy peasy. Next up is Kvatch, and we never actually finished saving the city. We closed the gate, but as soon as we found Martin, we kinda just abandoned everyone else in a city full of demons. Don't worry, the hero of Kvatch is back and ready to make this right. We quickly clear the courtyard with the help of the local guard, but the gate to the castle is down, so we'll need to travel through the chapel tunnels to unlock it from the other side. This time being joined by 3 of the biggest chads in all of Cyrodiil, whom we immediately let die in the tunnels so we can grab the gatehouse key and run past the horde of enemies. We've leveled a lot by now, and there's just no hope of doing anything against whatever this is. Or this. What even is that? Making it to the gatehouse, we hit the lever and are immediately swarmed by more enemies than I even thought the Oblivion engine could handle at once. Our allies don't last long at all, and soon we're left with only Savlian, who is an essential NPC. We're going to abuse this. Savlian won't let us continue the quest until there are no enemies left in this zone. We can clear the area before the bridge by trapping enemies one at a time inside the church using the door tech we discovered earlier. For the enemies beyond the bridge, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Sorry about that, my supermodel girlfriend called to tell me how handsome I am. We clean up the last 2 enemies in the courtyard with a little help from Savlian, I guess. And he tells us to go inside the castle to rescue the Count. You okay, buddy? At least we got a sick new ring out of this.
Do you have the Count's ring?
Yeah, sure, I grabbed it for you.
Thank you, Twin.
With Kvatch saved, Savlian promises us the assistance of 1 soldier, who I assume has been on PTO for the last week. Third on our list of cities is Skingrad, led by Janice Hasselder. Oh, Jesus, what the fuck? I'm not sure I want your help, actually. This is thankfully another standard Oblivion Gate with no special restrictions. Juke some Daedra, grab the rock, and Hasselder agrees to send some troops that are hopefully less creepy than he is. Get me away from this guy. Gate 4. Parkour.
I am Milona Umbranox, Countess of Anvil.
The gate outside of Anvil is laid out a bit differently than most others. In order to reach the entrance to the main tower, we need to travel through a series of caves along a winding circular path. Or we can use our acrobatic skill in conjunction with Oblivion's janky movement to scale the cliffs all the way up to the tower entrance. Once inside, it's the same as any other Oblivion gate. Yoink. Outside of the Shadenhall Oblivion Gate, the town guards inform us that the son of the Count of Shadenhall has already ventured into the gate 2 days prior to our arrival. Upon entering the portal ourselves, we discover that 2 days of effort for this guy amounts to walking forward about 20 feet. No wonder they need us. These aren't essential NPCs, and saving them isn't mandatory, which is good considering that even though I swear an honest effort was made to keep them alive, they only made it about halfway across the first bridge. At least now we can stop pretending that we're going to do anything other than run straight to the Sigil Stone. The last two gates are Bravel and Leowin. There's no special restrictions or quests tied to these two gates, and the addition of sprinting has absolutely broken this part of the game. You didn't have to fight every enemy in the original Oblivion gates, but we don't even need to consider fighting anything now. We just closed 6 Oblivion gates without throwing a single punch. I'm starting to think I should rename this challenge. Now that we've secured allies from each major city, we can move on to the last 2 items we need to gather for Martin. Item number 3 is a Great Welkin Stone. These are found within dungeons all over Cyrodiil, however most have already been pillaged over the years. But Martin is certain one still remains within Miskirkand, the ruins of an ancient alien city where many adventurers have already perished while attempting to recover the stone. These previous adventurers made the grave mistake of playing the 2006 original version of Oblivion, so they weren't able to break the ankles of every skeleton and zombie they came across. Us? We're built different. The hardest part of this entire quest isn't the boss that spawns when we grab the stone. It's the writer's block as I struggle to find yet another way to write a paragraph about holding down the shift key. On the way out, we beat a bandit to death just to make sure our fists don't atrophy, then it's back to Martin to prepare for the final item. We have the Great Welkin Stone, but now we need its counterpart, a Great Sigil Stone. This is what we've been preparing for by gathering allies. We'll have to defend Martin, who will be flagged as non-essential, from multiple waves of Daedra until the Great Oblivion Gate opens and we can run inside. So this is our army that we worked so hard to muster. The greatest dozen soldiers left in Cyrodiil versus an innumerable horde of demons. I don't see how this is going to be possible. The strategy going into this is to attempt to land a disarm on anything that has a weapon, and then get enough quick hits in on each enemy to drain their fatigue and make them unable to power attack my allies. Since we don't have the damage to quickly kill enemies, we just need to buy as much time as possible. We actually made it inside. Never mind then. Somehow Martin died while we were loading into the Oblivion Gate, but we got an autosave, which when loaded doesn't give us the game over anymore. Let's not question it. There's a time limit for the Great Oblivion Gate. If we don't get to the Sigil Stone within 15 minutes, it's game over. We've been training for this. I got one piping hot sigil stone for you, Martin. You right there, bud? Uh-oh. We can fix this.
We won a great victory here today.
Look at that,
We
good as
now
new.
have the means.
I actually can't believe how well this went. 10 of our 13 allies survived the battle. This entire playthrough, I was stressing thinking this quest was going to be a brick wall that I wouldn't be able to pass with these restrictions. I would be out to dinner with my wife, eyes glued to my phone, reading 17-year-old forum posts for ideas on how I could cheese this quest. Most of which suggested lowering the difficulty, which isn't a tip, by the way. That's like if someone asks you how to beat a game and you tell them just to watch the end credits on YouTube. I'd be laying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, trying to brainstorm ways I could possibly make this quest easier. In the end, it took, what, maybe 4 tries? For the first time, I am 100% confident that this challenge is actually beatable. Back at Cloud Ruler Temple, Martin has everything he needs to open a portal to Menkar Cameron's paradise.
Congratulations on your victory, sir.
This realm is inhabited by followers of Mehrunes Dagon, who all seem to be equally shocked that devoting their lives to worshipping the Daedric Prince of Destruction hasn't quite worked out for them in the afterlife. One of the followers regrets it so much that he offers to not only help us reach Menkar Cameron, but he'll help us kill him.
You are the last defender of decadent Tamriel. I welcome you, if you truly are the agent of fate.
You did not expect to see me again, did you?
Who are you?
You have no grasp of the power that my father has at his command. Come, my father is waiting to welcome you.
Okay, here's the situation we're in. We need to kill Menkar, so we can't just run past this quest.
How little you understand. You cannot stop Lord Dagon.
He has 2 allies, so we're outnumbered, and even if we kill the allies, they respawn a few seconds later.
Present your soul to my father as a mighty gift.
The doors are locked, so we can't use the door trick to isolate Menkar. They all have spells, which makes kiting to heal up extremely difficult. And worst of all, Menkar can heal himself. Almost every trick and strategy we've used this entire run is null and void here. The one tactic we can still rely on is knocking Menkar's staff out of his hands and grabbing it off the floor before he can. After locking that in with a quick save, we can effectively begin the fight with a slightly nerfed boss. My initial strategy was pretty basic. Run circles around the lower level of the room while using the pillars to block spells and chugging dozens of shield and resistance potions to prevent one-shots. Every few laps landing a single sucker punch for roughly 0.1% of his life bar. But what about Menkar's healing spells? Well, the strategy there is to ask him very nicely not to use them. This didn't work. There has to be something in this room that can help us. The only objects that aren't just smooth stone are the chandeliers, which we can jump up onto, and somehow the chains are able to block spells, but this doesn't really do anything for us. Or so I thought. Menkar has been forced to throw punches since we stole his staff, but somehow he doesn't realize that he can't reach us. All of his magic and Daedric power doesn't make him immune to a 12-foot drop, and in his rabid bloodlust, he doesn't even think to heal.
Found a way back.
Menkar is dead. The Amulet of Kings has been recovered. We're in the home stretch. All that's left is getting Martin safely to the Temple of the One to light the dragon fires and close the Oblivion gates for good. This is smack dab in the middle of the Imperial City, so it's pretty much a cakewalk with no conflict at all from here. Alright, no running, no ledges, no doors. It's time for Quimbley to do what he was born to do. That's it. The main quest line completed on master difficulty with nothing but our fists. So what did we learn from this? Well, it is painfully obvious that Oblivion was not designed with sprinting in mind. But Bethesda seems to feel that modern audiences would crumble if left alone with their thoughts for too long. Very little, if any, combat is actually required. If I had known this, I probably would have just done a no combat challenge instead. Really, the most important question is, was it fun? Nope. I kind of feel like I wasted my first experience with the remaster of one of my favorite games. Honestly, the only thing that would be a bigger waste of time than doing this challenge is spending an hour watching a video about it.